Welcome to another episode of Marvelman901. So today I'm gonna talk about Iron Man, Adventures of Captain America, Doctor Strange, Secret Defenders, Marvel Comics Presents featuring Kymaera, Ravage 2099, and Journey into Mystery, also having Tales of Asgard in it as well. So I'm gonna start off with Iron Man issue 306 from 1994. So this is kind of a low action issue, but it's a lot of stuff happening still. In the previous issues there was this hacker who was basically messing around with Stark Enterprises. Kind of dangerous things actually, almost killing people at times. However, Stark's basically security director or whatever, Bethany Cabe, found the hacker and brought him to Stark. So Stark interrogated him, finding out that Marcy Pearson was actually the one hiring him. So he made a meeting basically with Marcy where he basically told her that we know everything. This hacker guy, told us everything. So she kind of breaks down, she confesses to everything, hoping that he will forgive her, and he naturally doesn't. So the FBI basically arrests her. The hacker was actually hired by Stark, but under very watchful eyes. So more on that later on probably. What also happens is a very big thing actually, very big deal overall actually. Previously, naturally, Stain International had been basically merged with Stark Enterprises. The problem here is though that Stain International basically is half criminal. I mean, it's very shady business on that, which we've seen in the previous issues. Iron Man trying to basically fix things, fighting the Hulk in the previous issue and fighting the New Warriors in previous to that as well. Naturally, he realized that in order to basically salvage the whole situation, he needed to basically make everything public. So he actually made it so that anyone who had an internet connection can actually see what Stark Enterprises was doing, how they could do it and everything like that. So everything is out in the open, which has never been done before. It's a huge deal and a little bit mixed feelings from people about how this will go. So it's going to be interesting to see. Okay, so next issue I'm going to talk about is The Adventures of Captain America, issue 1 from 1991. So this is basically an evolved origin of Captain America. Naturally, it's fairly similar to both the movie in the MCU and the original comic, but it's a little bit more evolved, as I said. So basically, Steve Rogers eventually goes to basically join this program thing, trying to, of course, enlist into the army, but naturally, being thin, basically have almost any and all maladies that would prevent him from becoming a soldier, actually having all of those. Eventually, though, Dr. Erskine and the other guy who is basically involved in this thing, this other general basically, they bring him in and he basically goes through the tests along with 3 other people, among them Hodge, as we can see in the movie. He did, however, actually manage to beat the others, and the only thing that actually made him be able to beat them was the fact that he basically never quit. Even though he has everything against him, he never quit. So he won, and he naturally didn't exactly know what he won more than he won the chance basically to serve his country, as they said. Obviously that means becoming the super soldier, being experimented on. So he was basically placed on the table, going through the whole change thing, as Dr. Erskine basically placed the whole Vita race and all the whole serum thing and all that in him, and it worked. He became, almost Captain America. However, Erskine was killed by this Nazi spy, and Steve was naturally placed under close guard. Well, actually, eventually he ended up basically undercover in an army base. It's basically just another guy. He was apparently supposed to play stupid, something like that. So while this happens, several assassins of the Third Reich, or the Nazis, basically went out and eliminated people working on this project. So in the end here, Steve actually realizes that some people are trying to steal from the army base, and he basically followed them and played vigilante, basically masking himself and having a gun, trying to stop them, but things don't exactly go according to plan. So that's that, and we're gonna go for the next issue, which is gonna be Doctor Strange Volume 3, issue 67 from 1994. So if you'd seen or read the annual of 1994, you'd know that Clea was actually looking for help from Doctor Strange, basically helping her with the whole problem in the dark dimension, as Dormammu was basically defeated and she was now basically reigning things, but things didn't actually go as she wanted it to, as basically the dark dimension needed a dictator hand in a way, and she could never do that. However, she managed to actually get over to Earth. just for a limited period of time. However, it's a bit difficult to find Doctor Strange nowadays, as he's basically underground after the whole fight with Salome and all that. Anyway, after a lot of playing pool and help and stuff like that, she managed to actually find where Doctor Strange was hidden in his other sanctum. The problem here now was that she realized that Doctor Strange naturally couldn't actually help her at this time, as he was very busy with his own thing, actually a huge thing, basically changing the entire structure of magic on Earth, or something similar to that anyway. Basically her time was up, and she basically said that I'm gonna have to handle this myself anyway, pretty much. Very conflicting feelings there for Doctor Strange. Should he help her, or should he basically stay here and save his own reality? I mean, who knows. Okay, so we're gonna go over to Secret Defenders, issue 17 from 1994. This is the last part of Strange Changes. Naturally, the Secret Defenders at this time is Dr. Druid, Shadowoman, Deadpool, and Cage, also working alongside with Cadaver at the moment. Basically, they're fighting Malachi, or Malachi, or I don't know, very powerful sorceress anyway, who actually now has the Mobius Stone, the whole Mobius Stone, and her entire goal is to bring back her lover, who died several thousand years ago. She uses the stone, brings actually back her lover, but he doesn't actually want to come back. He wants to stay dead, as he realized that this is a better thing. At least for him now, he's done with living, which of course breaks her heart. Really breaks her heart, and naturally Deadpool killing her seals the deal, so to speak. Basically, the whole Mobius Stone is still active, and it's very dangerous. After Malachi was basically killed, Strange, not Doctor Strange, but the other Strange, basically comes along and he wants the Mobius Stone for Doctor Strange. Dr. Druid, however, knows that this is probably not a good idea. Not only is the stone very dangerous now, as it is active, it could actually change or even disrupt the space-time continuum, so he needed to stop it somehow. So he basically ordered the Secret Defenders, and alongside them, of course, Cadaver at the same time, to fight Strange, so he could basically deal with the stone. So that basically happened. I mean, they fought Strange. Strange put up a pretty good fight, actually. Him being pretty powerful, and they are not. So not Strange at all, actually. Anyway, Druid basically destroyed the Mobius Stone, and then Strange naturally just, okay, I can't do anything here, I'm leaving, basically. It's done. In the end, Dr. Druid naturally basically curses at Doctor Strange for doing this whole thing to him. So it's a pretty hefty issue there. Okay, so we're gonna go to Marvel Comics Presents, issue 158 from 1994, featuring Kymaera. This is, of course, the second part of this issue, but the fourth part of Matrix Syndrome. Basically, Kymaera defeated this armored guy who was fighting her in the previous issue, and then she basically ruined the whole submarine that she was on and brought it to the surface, where people could basically take care of it and the people on board. However, Mother Matrix actually managed to escape from this, so we're probably gonna see her later on as well. Not really sure when though. Okay, so going into the future now to 2099 with Ravage. This is issue 20 from 1994. Basically, Ravage's sister's husband attacked Ravage, basically trying to bring out the beast within him, which he actually got, but it was a bit more than he bargained for, as Ravage was naturally, he was very close to actually killing this guy. He didn't, however, the guy just passed out. Later on, this guy called the Hunter actually managed to trap Ravage, as he also knew who Ravage and the Beast Man, or whatever it was called, was. So he trapped Ravage and basically awoken him in this artificial jungle so that he could hunt Ravage down. So Ravage fought the Hunter and the Hunter's pet, or whatever, cat. And Ravage naturally defeated them. However, just as basically the Hunter was either dying or passing out, he basically told him that, yeah, there's some explosives around here, and I'm basically setting him off now. On a timer, you have very short time to basically live. So that ends that issue in a nutshell. So next issue, continuing from that. Last issue today is Journey into Mystery 104 from 1964. This is right after Loki basically failed by using Enchantress and Executioner to fight with Thor. Loki decided to actually trick Odin to go down to Earth, as Odin still had a lot of problem with Thor being in love with this mortal called Jane Foster. So while Odin was on Earth, Loki basically decided to take the throne, and then he released Skagg, who was a storm giant, basically a very powerful storm giant, and Surtur, the fire demon, upon Earth. So naturally chaos came along with that. While Balder went down there basically to warn Thor and Odin especially about this, about Surtur and Skagg. Odin decided to move the people of Earth outside of the fabric of time. Which is very interesting actually to see this happen. Then naturally Thor and Balder fought the two giants basically, the Skagg and Surtur, and they actually defeated them. So pretty interesting issue actually. So in this issue there's also a thing called Tales of Asgard. So this is basically back in time, a bit more legend stuff. Anyway, in this issue we can actually see Heimdall getting the whole being a guardian of Bifrost. So he basically has to prove himself beside Gotron and Agnar, and he does so by basically displaying how extremely acute his observational skills are. He can actually hear a grass basically growing on another planet. He can see far away. Yeah, stuff like that. So that is how he gained that. Pretty impressive stuff actually. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this. Do subscribe and share if you like this naturally. All of this is Marvel's creations. I'm only telling the story. Stay safe and have a good day.